Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 5 Tips and Tricks for Careers in Athletics. I am your host, Dr. Corie Apodaca, with my all-time most favorite, most wonderful, the one of the kind, the only, the golf fanatic,
Oh,
Jen
yes.
Albanese.
Hello, Maury. How are you? Welcome to the podcast, everyone.
I know. Jen's got some exciting news because
my God.
a bucket list item. Was it a bucket list item?
I mean, close to it, I would
Yeah.
say. This is like the week after. This will probably be released, but I just got back from the Ryder Cup. Unbelievable experience. I would say it's like up there. I'm a big golf fan.
Yeah, you're a golf fanatic. I feel like every time we're at an event, there's a golf on and golf on TV. And
very much enjoy. I mean, I grew up, my dad obviously works in the golf business. He's a sales rep. He sells equipment and that kind of stuff. And so I grew up with golf. Like, my dad plays golf. I play golf, not great, but I play golf. Everybody in our family likes golf. My husband likes golf. So just been around.
Golf was at your wedding?
Golf was part of my wedding. Yes. Yep. We got engaged on a golf course. So there's all kinds of little ties in with golf, which is cool. But so John and I like to go to golf tournaments, and similar to the Masters, the Ryder Cup has like a lottery system to get tickets. And I won the lottery.
My God.
I got to.
Was there a tier when it came out?
It was so long ago. I feel like I got this lottery like last January, and then the Ryder Cup was in September. So it was like 10 months apart. But regardless, it was very exciting. So you could buy 4 tickets, whatever. So we went and we bought tickets for the Sunday at the Ryder Cup. And it was at Bethpage on Long Island, and which is really, really cool. Close to here, obviously, because it's like 4.5 hours from Syracuse. And it didn't start off great for Team USA.
No.
They were down on days 1 and 2.
They dug themselves one heck of a hole.
A big, big hole. But so Sunday, we were like a little bit like, oh man, we're going to go and they're going to lose. And it's going to stink, and it's going to be not boring. It's still going to be really cool, the experience to be there. But Sunday was incredible. If anybody watched it, the U.S. came roaring back. They did not win, but they fought like hell. This is what I said to my dad. They fought like hell, and they played incredible. And the crowds were just unbelievable. If anybody's ever been to a golf tournament, golf is not like a rowdy sport. It's not like a football. Yeah, like a golf clap. It's not like a football game where you're screaming and yelling your head off, as a fan. Like, it's very like, got to be quiet when they take a shot or anything like that. But the fans and the crowd at this one were unbelievable. Like, the energy, like anytime you saw a U.S. player, it was like everybody was just chanting USA. Like, it was so cool. And then that last like almost 2 hours of Sunday where the U.S. came back and got it really, really close and back to some competitive, exciting golf was really, really fun.
That's awesome.
It was really cool. A very like cool moment that I'll remember forever. And everybody was so excited and like banded together. It was great. It was really, really cool. So if anybody ever gets a chance to go to the Ryder Cup, it's pretty darn cool. So
glad you got that experience. So it seemed really cool, and I was like enjoying hearing about it and seeing the pictures as you guys went. So that's very awesome.
We tried to post some stuff and see all like their setup, because me, the marketing person, looking at what their setup is and how it all looks and the engagement for the fans and what there was to do, which was very, very cool. But it was awesome. It was really fun.
Awesome. So. Well, we have another one of your favorite things coming up. Corie Apodaca, one of your past proteges, is coming on the podcast.
Love her so much. Love her. We're so excited to chat with her.
So we will get to Corie right after these messages.
Are you a loyal 5 Tips and Tricks podcast listener? If not, now is the time to start. Get all your info and fun content on the podcast by following us on all our social channels at @AthCareerPod. The 5 Tips and Tricks podcast is a part of Athletic Career Consulting. Make sure to reach out to us. The one-stop shop for everything is our website, www.athcareer.com. Remember, follow and like us on @AthCareerPod, rate and review us, and get all your info at www.athcareer.com. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Maury, would you like to introduce our guest today?
Yes, today's guest has built her career from the ground up, starting at Syracuse Athletics, where she helped boost women's soccer attendance by 26%, crossing platforms, marketing campaigns, and led a 50-plus person intern team, enhancing a game day experience. From there, she took her talents to the University of New Mexico, where she increased volleyball attendance by a staggering 179%, grew athletic apps users base by 22%, and brought new life to the Lobo brand through social media, email marketing, and hands-on fan engagement. At Long Beach State, she continued raising the bar, overseeing marketing for baseball, women's volleyball, women's basketball. Under her leadership, baseball attendance jumped, and she managed digital strategies that skyrocketed Instagram engagement more than 900%. And now at West Virginia University, she's redefined what's possible in sports marketing. Since June 2023, she's led efforts that increased women's basketball attendance, doubled season ticket sales, and drove $15 million in football revenue, and second highest in program history. Her digital and email campaigns alone helped produce over $2.4 million in ticket revenue in 2024. From creative campaigns to data-driven results, she's powerhouse in college athletics. We're pleased to welcome Corie Apodaca to the podcast. Welcome, Corie. And also have to say one of Jen's favorites because she came up with Jen.
Oh, one of my favorites. Hi, Corie.
Hello. Jen gave me my start. I think I owe everything to her. All those numbers, all because of Jen.
Don't inflate her head too much. She's got to still fit through the door.
That's an intro right there. My goodness.
I know. I love it. No, I'm so proud of you, Corie. She was I know I say this a lot, but one of my all-time favorites right here, Corie. It's like so close to my heart, and I'm so proud of you and so excited that you are agreeing to be on the podcast. This is so exciting.
No, I'm so excited to see you guys. Haven't seen you guys in 5 years, but it feels like it was yesterday.
It
does.
Know.
It feels
Thank
like
God
just
for
yesterday.
social media that we can stay in touch and see how each other is doing. And so, yeah.
And you've landed at one of our old Big East rivals, so we get to see the
not too far,
competition.
Not
far at all.
There's a photo right outside my office of maybe it's 2004 Final Four, I think.
Wow.
And it's West Virginia and Syracuse playing each other. And like my first week here, I was like, that's funny.
You're like,
of all the schools to be playing, that's funny.
That's an omen.
That's a good sign. That's a good sign that I've been at those two schools. So
omen. I see Syracuse every single day. I always think of you guys. And I honestly owe it all, to Jen, because I wouldn't be in college athletics if she didn't give me that start back in 2019. So.
Oh, well.
Awesome.
Oh, thank you. Well, we were very lucky to have you for the short time that we did. So.
Well,
glad I could play a small part.
For you to pass along your knowledge and wisdom that Jen helped create for you, let's start with your first tip or trick.
Yes. So obviously in that intro, you heard I've moved all across the country. So my first tip is when applying to jobs, don't limit yourself to a location, to a university, to an athletic to a college program, anything like that. And really focus on what you want to do in your career. I've moved to 4 different states. I've lived in 4 different states for different jobs. I've moved to 2 of them sight unseen. Actually, 3 of them sight unseen, if we're including Syracuse, even though I have been there before. And I really, when I was applying to those places, was looking for more of a home than I was looking for like a career. I was like, oh, can I see myself there for 10 years? I'm not sure. But in the time being, I kind of looked into the now and realized that in those places, I could see myself being there now, making a lasting impact and kind of creating my own family. The only place that I've been near family was in California at Long Beach State. So when I was applying to Syracuse, when I was applying to New Mexico and West Virginia, I really wanted to find somewhere that felt more like home to me. And I felt like all 3 of those places really encapsulated that for me. I'm in group chats with every single stop with group chats of all of my coworkers. And those people, I talked to from people from Long Beach, people from Syracuse, people from New Mexico every single day. And I really owe that to, I think, finding the right people rather than trying to just look for the right location or the right university or the right job title at the time. I don't think I would have gone to any of those places if I was trying to just, I think I should be this. This is, I think, the top job title I should be at this time, or this is the pay that I should be getting. But I really just wanted the opportunities that were being given to me. So that's my first tip.
That's awesome. I laugh because I think there's a person that I've worked with that have said like, oh, I could never work for this institution because they are a rival of my, of my alma mater. Like I couldn't do this or that. But
Yeah.
the reality is, it's like, it's a profession, and like you should be finding where you can grow and where like the right place is and the right fit for you at that time. And there's so many different factors that fit in to what that is, and like making sure that you have a community and a way to be successful at that place. And so like such a good point of like, don't close your mind off to things just because you have a decision for them, or that you want to be a fan, because there's such a difference between being a fan and being a professional. And that's one of the things you need to draw out.
Yeah. And I mean, also like, do you really want to work for your favorite sports team? Because then you're going to learn. I mean, we all know, like we know too much probably about everything that goes on behind the scenes. You hear everything as being obviously working in the athletic department. I wouldn't want to work for my favorite school. I grew up a USC Trojan fan my entire life. I worked with them on a game with Long Beach State, doing a game at Angel Stadium, and I didn't have the best experience. So I was like, okay, I don't think I would ever want to work there then. Yeah. I think I want to be the fan. I want to be the one that's, cheering on the Trojans on Saturdays. I don't want to be the person having to work those games, because that's how why I work in college athletics, was going to those games. Same for I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Like, I don't think I'd ever want to work for the Eagles because one, you learn too much, and then you're just like, I think it's just kind of one of those things of like, don't limit yourself to, maybe you think you want to work for your favorite sports team. And I think some people do get really lucky. Like you guys, obviously, like Syracuse is your home. Yeah. It's been your home. Like you guys are very lucky. And I have a lot of people here at West Virginia who are born and raised West Virginia fans. And they also work here, and, they are the brand. They are, West Virginia to its core. But there's a lot of us who are transplants who have embodied that now. And I think that's important too. When you go and look for jobs and stuff like that, of like seeing like, okay, is there a lot of people who are from Syracuse or from West Virginia that work there? Or is it a lot of transplants? And at each of my 4 stops, it's been kind of a mixed bag. There's been a lot of people from each of them, but my experience where there's been people from, Syracuse or West Virginia and transplants was completely different than my experience where everyone was from California at Long Beach. Like we didn't really create a family base because everyone had their actual families there. Yeah. And that experience versus my experiences at New Mexico, Syracuse, and here have been wildly different. And I do think that's truly why.
That's such a good point about like the different people who are at the place that you're working, and how that affects your experience. And you just said that. So it's all about the fit. And I love that you don't want to limit yourself and all that, but it's about the fit for you and the now of what's best for you personally and professionally. And it has to work for both, or it's never going to be a positive experience. So I love that, not to limit yourself. That's such a good piece of advice. And limiting yourself too, even if it's college athletics, professional, whatever it is, don't limit yourself to any of that, because you never know what opportunity might come up.
Yeah, so keep yourself open.
And I started in professional athletics. I started doing inside sales with the Kings, and instantly knew I was like, I'm not a salesperson. I'm not a ticketing person. But like now looking back at it, I'm like, oh, like I basically sell tickets for a living, but it's just in a completely different way.
Right, exactly. You're just not on the phones. You're not on the phones.
Not calling people up. Don't ever want to call people up. Never want to do that again. But I'll do it behind the computer easily. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so great start. What do we got for number 2?
So the second one is a little bit more kind of just in general. It's just take care of yourself. Working in sports, working in marketing and facilities, you work a lot of hours. You might work 7 days in a row. You might look at a month of October and realize you have 5 days off actually the whole month. So when you do have those 5 days, or, have the 1 day off between a 2-week span of games, take time to do something for yourself. You can get burnt out really easily in this job. And I've seen a lot of people get burnt out where they hate their jobs or they don't want to be doing this anymore. And I think that's because for a while they weren't probably taking care of themselves. And I think not necessarily at Syracuse, but in my starting out of my career, I think I wasn't really doing that. And I was so focused on working that I was so overwhelmed or just wasn't doing things that were giving me any, like, I just wasn't doing anything that was passionate to me. I was just kind of working. And I think that's really important in this industry because that's what's going to make you last probably the longest in here. Yeah.
It's so simple but so impactful. Like, take care of yourself, and it can look so many different ways of taking care of yourself, but it's so important to do that. Like, for me, maybe 10 years ago it looked different than what it is today. Like, for me today, it's like, let me go spend a day with the kids, let me go do something outside, or we go, whatever it is, we do something as a family, or we go and we go see friends or spend time with family. But like, it's got almost like turn your brain off from your job, and that will help take care of yourself. And
which is super hard in this industry.
Really hard.
Especially if you listen to my first tip where I said, like, create your family. Like, your family is going to be your coworkers, but sometimes you all just need a break. So whether that's even just to go watch an away football game at someone's house and you guys are just having a game night or whatever, like, that's still taking care of yourself, even though you're with your coworkers. It's never going to feel like you're with your coworkers if you're creating that, like, family environment. And I think that's important of, like, I might spend almost every day with a coworker, but I don't feel like I'm with a coworker because I'm taking care of myself. We're doing a book club, or, we're going for a long walk after work, taking the dog out, like, whatever it might be. I think that's super important.
Yeah, those, like, moments in the day, like, I didn't focus on that a lot. And then someone gave me some advice, like, hey, you really need to, like, take some time, like, even get some actually cardio or workout. So, like, I've started like biking or running during the week. And sometimes on weekends I'll take the time off because that's, like, when I'll decompress. But, like, I will listen to a podcast or listen to music and just put a little time in my morning aside before everything goes crazy and, like, starts going, where I can just, like, take a break. Because even at night sometimes I'll have to deal with things, or, like, but just that 20 minutes
For sure.
can just be that kind of relief for the day.
Yeah, I mean, it can even be as simple as turning your phone on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I've learned that I'm like, okay, after 8 p.m., Do Not Disturb is going on. I'll respond to anything in the morning. Nothing is that urgent right now.
Right.
And if it is, they're going to call me and force the Do Not Disturb off or whatever.
Right.
Right.
But I'm like, if it's really an emergency, we'll get there. But in the long run, it's never really that serious. Yeah. So just as simple as doing that, I think is also very helpful.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Number 3.
Okay, this one could be a little controversial.
Hey.
It's going to be don't be afraid to say no. I think a lot of the times when you're starting out in sports or in your career, in any career, they're telling not everyone that's really young to say yes to every single opportunity that's presented to themselves. And yes, I do think you do say yes to opportunities, but say no when you need to. If you can't handle another project, if you've already worked 7 days in a row and they're asking you to just go to a men's soccer game for extra support, you say no to those things. Like, use those, like, take those days, say no. Then, if you say no, if you say yes to too many things, you might be getting taken advantage of. And maybe you're overlooked, or they make you feel like you're complacent in your career or something. And now you're overlooked for a salary raise or maybe a promotion because, she can keep doing those things. We keep giving her more. She's doing them all. She's doing them fine. She's not telling us no. So we're just going to keep giving her more things. And I think that's something that, starting out, wish I would have known that, which obviously that's tip 5. But that's something that, like I said, everything I wish I would have known. But I think you have to be afraid. Don't say it. Like, say no. Don't be afraid. Yeah. If you have to say yes to things, obviously do it. But yeah.
It goes right back to the tip you just said about taking care of yourself. Saying no is a version of taking care of yourself. It's that boundary that you set up. We've talked about this a bunch of different times, but, like, if that you never set those boundaries in the beginning, you're never going to have them. And it's going to be harder to set those. It's going to be harder to say no 5-6 years into your career if you've always said yes. And in the beginning, yes, you want to do everything.
For sure.
But like you said, if they need you at a soccer game because they need 1, 2, 3 extra more people, it's still going to happen without you being there.
Yeah. Right.
So that's That it is controversial, but it's smart.
I'm sure there's been plenty of guests that have said, say yes to everything.
Well, yeah, but a good supervisor is going to also support you when you say,
Correct.
hey, I can't do that. And like, I try and be really cognizant of like, okay, if I ask this and someone's like, hey, I'll be like, okay, clearly this isn't going to work best for you. Like, let's think of other ways that we can resolve this without like making you be the person that has to deal with it. And that's something that comes up with, or even I'll throw myself in and say, hey, well, I wasn't planning to be there, but I'll figure it out. And we, we try and get those parts done. But I think there is a strange culture, probably especially in collegiate athletics, where it's like, no, you start being afraid to say no because you feel like people are gonna be upset with you, or that you're not supporting the cause. And sometimes it's not just about saying no, but how you say no, or not just definitively doing like just ignoring what's being asked. It's more about like, okay, well, I understand this isn't the right thing for me or the right thing to do, but let's try and figure out the right thing, whether it's like, hey, I can't do it, but I think there might be an intern that can cover. Let me see if I can help get somebody. I think that's a different thing than saying, oh, I can't do it. Like that helps you be a part of the group. Like, hey, be helpful in the solution. Or, I've at times been like, oh, if I say this, there's going to be an administrator that just gets upset. And sometimes, unfortunately, that's maybe their own issues that are coming out on everybody else. And you just have to say it in a nice way. And if you're being professional and you're doing it the right way, then you have every reason to be able to say those things.
Right. And I think too, a lot of the times when we say no to something, we're always giving an excuse with it. So like, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that because I have to do X, Y, and Z. But like, sometimes you don't need to give them an excuse.
Right.
You can literally just say like, no, I can't handle that right now.
Unfortunately, that's not going to work. And
most of the time they're going to figure it out. And I think even my bosses here do a really good job of like, they give me a lot of stuff. They give RGA a lot of things. And they're like, if you really can't handle this, like, please tell us. And there has been times where I'm like, I really can't do this. Or I look at my to-do list and I'm like, I need someone else to do this part because I'm not going to physically be able to get to it by the time that it's due. And I think that's where, as a young professional, I think a lot of the times where they get stuck, they're like, oh my gosh, okay, I need to finish all these things. Got to be in the office till 7 p.m. I got to get it all done. We're like, that's not really the reality. Like, you don't want to stay till 7 p.m. on a day you don't have to.
And the other part of that too is being like, okay, look at the list. Well, these 3 things are not something that I necessarily need to do. Let me give this like, hey, and talk to your supervisor, say like, hey, I think I can take this on if this goes to somebody else. And I'm happy to like, if we can rearrange this, we can make this work. That's not doing something negative. That's being proactive and smart. And I think people are afraid of that. People are afraid of like, if you're not saying yes all the time, you're not looking like you're a good employee. And it's a culture that sometimes can be pretty difficult.
And also if you're finding yourself in that culture, is that somewhere that you really want to be?
Right. I mean, I think as a boss too, like I'd rather have you tell me that you can't handle that and be honest with me than do it and do it like crappy, or don't do it completely the best way it could be done, or it doesn't get done and then I have to come in and do it anyways. Like I'd rather have you tell me I can't handle that right now and be honest, then we can, like Maury said,
figure it out together,
a solution, as opposed to I'm assuming when you tell me you can do it and you're going to do it all the way, instead of saying it because you don't feel like you can be honest. So I think there's part of it there too. So
and that's a learning thing for supervisors, like people that are coming up that are now in the supervisory role. If you don't make that space and you don't create an environment that works out that way, then you got to reevaluate how you're pushing things. So that's awesome. That was like an all around.
I know question, that was
all around part there.
We got all into that one.
a little controversial, but
but I think it's good.
Was that 3 or 4?
That was 3. We're on 4 now.
4 and 4. Jen's got to keep track of me because I'll just go right off.
Yes. So the 4th one is just to be a good coworker. People want to work with people who are good people. I know people have said this before, but I think it is really important that you want to be a teammate to everyone. You don't just want to be a coworker. You want to be a part of their team. You want to be kind. You want to be collaborative. You want to be easy to work with. And being those things doesn't make you a pushover when someone comes to you and says like, hey, I need this to get done. You saying yes or anything like that, it doesn't make you a pushover. It just means, build those lasting relationships. I have been places where I can name people that have not been a good coworker, and I wish that I would have gone to them and been like, hey, like, I think that we need to, have a conversation or figure out how we can work as teammates and not just coexist. And I think that's really important, because when you leave a space, when you whatever, you're gonna know if you were a good coworker based off of those relationships you're building, those relationships you're leaving. Like I said, I'm not tooting my horn, but I think I've been a good coworker with people, and I've had great coworkers, which is why I have group chats with places where everywhere I've been, I have group chats with people, because everyone that I was working with was amazing. And I think that's super helpful, especially in this industry. You work with too many people, too many hours, all the time. You're surrounded by people. Sometimes you can't get a moment of peace. And if you're not being a good coworker or not being a good person, that's going to be a super hard environment for you to succeed in.
Yeah. And I mean, especially when you're, like you said, working with them for a lot of time, like it can just be draining. Like there was
Mm-hmm.
times early on in my career where like there would be days at a time where we literally were with each other
Yeah.
constantly
Mhm.
because we couldn't leave
Mm-hmm.
the building, and you just
Right.
it would just rub on a nerve, and like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when you need to step back and take a breath and like say, okay, here's what we need to do, and like try and refocus and, create that team environment, and that can be better. But even, I was thinking across parts of the department, because one of the things that can be so challenging is people get kind of siloed, and I don't think it's
Mm-hmm.
everybody's intention, but especially now, I think collegiate athletics is tough right now, and no one's hiding that, with resource allocation and everyone trying to do their best with what they have, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone kind of going for resources. You can just kind of, push people the wrong way, not necessarily
Mhm.
because you're just not
Mhm.
seeing their point of view, and it's hard to see it
Right.
from their angle. So, and with everyone moving 100 miles a minute and trying
Mm-hmm.
to get everything done for everybody, and it's just being a good coworker across the department. And how can you
Mm-hmm.
build those relationships? And like you said, how can you stop and say, hey, clearly we have an impasse here and we're kind
Mm-hmm.
of butting up against each other. Let's try and figure out what we have on each side of this to try and create a better situation. And that's not easy. Like that is
Yeah.
a hard
And
thing
that's
to do.
something that I'm still
Mhm.
learning. I'm still
Yeah.
Mhm.
learning when you have that difficult kind of conversation of like, okay, like, we're not seeing eye to eye on this. Like, how do we see that eye to eye to get to that goal? And I think that's something that you're always going to learn. You're always going to feel weird about some of those kinds of
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
confrontational
mean,
things,
I've even
but it's
had to bring
okay.
people in as a moderator that was just not
Mm-hmm.
in between it, and just could be kind of like hey, let's help these two groups see each other's side, and
Mm-hmm.
not because of a negative reason. It's just, it's very hard when you're looking at from your perspective what's going on the other side, and you want to empathize with them, and that's always something that you need to do. But sometimes it's okay, let's have another person that can just kind of
Mhm.
take the edge off of and be that in between, and that's not bad on either side. That's just helping to, create an environment where everyone can find, a resolution. So,
Right. And it's
um,
also hard when, you want to be a good coworker to all these people. You're working with so many departments, internally, externally. You're talking to the Rhino team that works in security. You're working with all these
right,
different departments that you're working with. But like, they're also your friends.
right,
So
Mhm.
it is sometimes hard to take away those two things. And if you are having a conflict with someone, be like, okay, like, they're my friend in the long run, or they're my coworker in the long run. We need to have this conversation, coworker to coworker, and not friend to friend, to then bring it into anything
yeah,
else. And I think that is something that really, starting on in my career, which I'm sure Jen can attest to this. Like, I did have an issue with a coworker at Syracuse, and we were roommates. It was Emily, like one of our favorite people. Like, we did have an issue for a really long time, and then me and Jen and her sat down, had a heart to heart, and we're like, oh, we just weren't communicating correctly. And
yeah,
sometimes that's truly all that it is. And from that situation, I've learned to kind of be like, okay, let's separate the friend and the coworker part of it. In that situation, we were not being good coworkers, but we were being fine friends. So it was just kind of those kinds of things. And I think in the long run, like, obviously I have a very good relationship with Emily, but like, in those situations, we weren't being good coworkers to each other.
Yeah, and that's something that takes time, and it figures out. And
Mm-hmm.
as you get older, it's somewhat easier in some ways and harder in others. But
Yeah.
it's a skill
And
that you
again,
need to work
still
on.
learning.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
everybody always is.
I'm still learning. Like, I'm still learning about that too. Like, like Maury said, as you get older and you become that supervisor, like when I was overseeing you, Corie, like
Mm-hmm.
it was about how do we communicate and make this better? How do we just talk
Yep.
to each other and communicate? Because, again, you are with these people for such a long
For
period of
so many
time.
hours. Yeah.
And you're building those relationships to get to know them as people too. And that helps and can help and hurt. So it's trying to find that happy medium in the middle ground to be able to work well together, but also be friends and have a good relationship because, again, you're spending all this time with them and you're going to want to help somebody who you care about, who you understand what's going on in their life and what they're going through and what they're doing and their family and whatever. Like, I can't tell you how many times, I mean, Corie, you know all about my kids and what's going on. I mean, like, that's just part of working with people, and
Yeah,
to
exactly.
build those relationships helps. So
For sure. Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I mean, again, it goes back to like defining the family aspect of it. Like, you're gonna butt every family butts heads.
Yep.
So in all the like you're going to. So I think as long as you can be a good teammate, be a good coworker, be a good person, then I think that's going to help you succeed in the long run.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay, we're coming to the end here, Jen.
Okay.
Throw it out there.
Last one, Corie. So what do you know now that you wish you knew then? So what do you know now at this point in your career that you wish you knew when you first started? I guess with me at Syracuse. I don't know.
I wish that if you want to learn something, just ask. A lot of the times, and I'll use my example of being in like the digital marketing kind of field now, at Syracuse, it kind of just got past me because no one wanted to do it. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll take it on, whatever, sure. Learned from there. When I went to New Mexico, same thing. No one really wanted to do it, and they were like, hey, you did it at Syracuse. I was like, oh yeah, sure, like whatever. And I kind of said like, hey, like what about web design? Like what about creating some web pages for a game day central page or something like that? And they were like, yeah, go for it. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, what about the mobile app that we're doing? They were like, yeah, sure, like you can take it on. Okay, cool, great. So I was kind of trying to make that cohesive like circle with those two things. And then at Long Beach, it was very similar. They said, well, you've done it at your last two stops. Do you just want to continue to do it? It's like, yeah, sure. But like, what's kind of our strategy that it looks like? And they're like, well, we don't really have one, but if you want to develop one, we can come up with one. I was like, okay, sure. Sounds good. And then here, when my boss, Erin, got hired, I told her, I was like, I want to be in digital marketing. I am overworking games. I'm done working 7 days a week. I don't want to be in the fan engagement space really anymore. And she was like, okay, so let's give you some more responsibilities with like digital marketing and all those kinds of things. And that's kind of where my career is leading. And I do think eventually that'll be what my job is, whether that's here or somewhere else. And I don't think I would be in that position if I didn't start with saying like, hey, like, can I do these things? Can I take this on? And I think that's super important when you're starting out in your career and you find something that you're passionate about. At Long Beach, like we didn't really have a social media team. Being at a mid-major, it was, kind of everyone's doing everything. Yeah. And so I was like, hey, like, do you guys want me to do that? Like, want me to run the social media accounts? I mean, I know that you have each sports comms person is doing it, but no one's running the main page. I was like, I'm more than happy to do that. I have plenty of time. And they were like, really? And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, I did it with New Mexico. Like, I can do it with this. And they were like, okay, sure, go ahead. So I think it's just, ask if you are seeing something that your bosses are doing or seeing something that another department's doing and you're really interested in that. And you're like, okay, like maybe I want to learn about development or I want to learn more about the ticket sales sides of things. Just ask those things because they're going to help. That's going to help you in the long run more than you even know about it. And maybe, your job is not going to be to sell tickets, but if I didn't take an inside sales job at the very beginning, I think I would not understand the ticketing culture as much as I currently do. So I think just ask. The worst they can say is no. And you're like, okay, well, I asked. Or maybe they know that you wanted to learn about these things 6 months ago and they're like, hey, we can't do that now, but come back to me in 6 months and I can help give you those responsibilities.
Yeah.
And again, that's just going to help you in the long run.
Yeah, I love when staff asked and said, "Hey, like I'm really looking to do this." I feel like that's a really opportunity that I can help them grow and do stuff. And like you said, it's not always like I've had to explain. Like I've had people be like, "I want to do X, Y, and Z." I'm like, "Okay, well, to get there, we got to start here. So
Mm-hmm.
let's get you
Yep.
involved with this, and that'll lead to this and this and this, and let's build up to that." And if that's what I know you're looking to try and get involved with, like let's find a path to get you there.
Yeah.
And so, and that can be hard for some people too. Like that's one of the things that I've run into is like, they thought, oh, okay, well, if I ask, I'll just get to that part. And what they might not understand is that whole, like you said, that whole digital strategy that got you there, you built it piece by piece, right? To get to that whole area. And so, go talk to your supervisor and say, hey, how do I get to this? Like, I'd really like to be involved with this, and give them the opportunity to show you, like, here's the path towards that. It might not be as quick as you might have expected, not for negative reasons, just for just learning pieces. And then that could open the door. And then I've had some people that like thought that they wanted to go towards there. And as they started the steps, like, nope, this is not really what I want to do. I'd like to try something else. And then you adjust. And so like, that's such a great thing, is like, put yourself out there, ask, so that we can try and help find ways to get you to where you want to go.
Right. And I mean, again, the worst someone could tell you is no.
No, right. Exactly.
Okay. It's not hurting anything. Yeah. And now like, okay, well, at least I asked. And if you feel like in 6 months, it's worth another ask, then go for it. If it's something that, oh, hey, I'm asking for more, supervisory responsibilities, and they're not giving it to me because of the title of the position I'm in, and that's kind of what they're telling you, then okay, maybe is it time to look for a new job? Is there an opportunity for you to grow? And that's gonna, when you ask these certain questions, it's going to get you to understand kind of like where you're kind of sitting, where they kind of, not that they necessarily trust you, but like, it's going to help you understand of like what your role truly is in your department. And that's going to help you, set you up for success.
And it's gonna, what might be the next thing you need to look for?
Right, exactly. Or, maybe your boss is telling you like, hey, like, unfortunately here, we're not going to be able to ever do that, but I can help you learn those things to get you to somewhere when a job opens. That is going to set you up for the job that you're looking for. And I think that's super, super beneficial because, again, like, I know that I want to be in the digital marketing world. My bosses here have given me so much responsibility with all of it, that I'm creating those things and doing everything now, that whether that's here or somewhere else, like, I know that opportunity is going to come because I've asked those kinds of questions.
So good. So good. I love it. Just ask. That's it can't
simple.
Can't hurt. It can't hurt. It's only going to help.
I mean, and you're told no all the time already. Yeah. So just ask again. It's fine.
Well, Corie, this was awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciated it. Getting to see you again. So we cannot thank you enough, and some great words of wisdom for those people coming up. So
thank you so much for having me. Yeah, it was so nice to see you guys again. Let's not make it another 5 years.
I know. Now you have to come. We'll have to get together and visit.
I know, for sure.
I miss you, and I'm so proud of you. And this is always such a treat for me when I see people that used to be with us and have gone on to do such incredible things. So it's such a treat, and I'm so proud of you.
Well, thank you so much. Like I said, owe everything to Jen.
Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you.
Well, Jen, with that, tell everybody how they can get in touch with us and what to do in the future.
Absolutely. So make sure you guys are all following us on all of our social channels at @AthCareerPod, and new episodes drop every Tuesday, and hopefully you're liking and following us on all of your podcast platforms as well. And this is great. And we appreciate everybody listening. So thanks for all the support.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you
guys.
soon.
Bye.
If you like the 5 Tips and Tricks podcast, make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. You can rate and review us, including questions that may be answered on future episodes. The 5 Tips and Tricks podcast for careers in athletics is part of Athletic Career Consulting. Check us out at www.athcareer.com. Don't forget to follow and like us on your top social media platforms.